Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Ruggiero, Vice President of Communications for Quilts Incorporated, and this is another in our series of interviews with the winners for the 2022 Festival Judge Show. And right now I've got with me Susan Vanny. She won the Janome Master Award for Innovative Artistry. That's a $5,000 award sponsored by Janome America. And her quilt, which you can see behind me, is called Born to be Wild. And it measures 66 inches by 39 inches. Susan was very nice to get up very early for us today because she is from Victoria, Australia. And I'll go ahead and read her artist statement and then we'll have a chat with her. So what Susan says about this quilt, she says, "Wild dogs or painted wolves are my favorite animals out of Africa. In this quilt, 3 young pups are walking ahead of the adult dog in the background in a landscape of a changing environment. Diminishing in numbers rapidly from disease, it's crucial to look after the numbers before they reach a crisis point, like so many African animals. The webbed holes represent climate change and the effects it has on nature's wonderful creatures." So let's welcome Susan. Thank you again for taking out the time to talk with us today.
Thank you very much for asking me. And thank you. Thanks for the wonderful award. It's been wonderful.
Well, the thanks go to Janome for that, who sponsored the award.
Yes. Thank you, Janome America. Yes, that's right. Yes.
So obviously this quilt talks about something, animal preservation and climate change. Both of these issues are important to you. So tell me a little bit about why they're important to you and what made you decide to incorporate those interests into your quilt here.
I've been to Africa a few times, and in Australia, we all have animals that are diminishing due to climate change and population changes and what have you. But I was shocked to find out when I went to Africa. I've been 3 times, and the first 2 times I didn't see any wild dogs. And so the third time I made it my mission to go and see them. And then we went to a different part of Kenya and I learnt more about them. And they only had wild dogs the first time in 4 years because they were, they only just started coming back with 2 packs because of distemper. And so they were, the alpha females were collared and so on. But anyway, we managed to find them and I managed to actually sit with them, which was really exciting. It's where you take your camera gear, get out of the car, not where the wild dogs are, and then, where the wild dogs are, but they're sleeping, and you sit down on the ground and the vehicle moves away. So I actually got to sit with them and take photographs of them. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. It was just stunning. And every now and again the vehicle, our guide kept yelling, "You okay, Sue?" And I was, yeah, thumbs up type of thing. Didn't want to move too much, but so I got to sit with them for about 40 minutes. So it was pretty amazing.
Did you have any fear at all, or were you just more interested in getting those pictures?
I'm more interested in getting the pictures, but I sort of thought to myself, if this is the last thing I do, it's okay.
Okay. Well, we're glad you're still here with us today. So that's
so it's pretty amazing event. Yeah.
Okay. Well, take me a little back and tell me a little bit about how you first got interested in quilting and involved in quilting.
Okay, so look, if you had said to me 15 years ago I'd be quilting, I would have been laughing at you. I've always liked textiles and making things with fabrics and things like that, but I'm an actual painter, artist. So I don't know. I ended up at a quilt show and I actually was looking around at the quilts and I didn't know there was such a thing as art quilts. And I thought, oh, now that interests me. So anyway, I found out more about it, and then as it went along, and I entered a competition actually for Houston for text on textiles, and I put this quilt together, and actually it was one of 26 that travelled the world. So that was pretty exciting, and that spurred me on to do more and better and what have you, and to enter more competitions and so on. I've been to Houston even 3 times now for the quilt festival, and it's just amazing. It's inspiring. It's cool.
Well, you bring up a really interesting point in that I remember years ago, painters were painters and quilters were quilters, and never the twain did meet. But
That's
that seems to have
exactly.
really the barriers between those two kind of art forms have really crumbled over recent years. Tell me a little bit about, how you've seen that and how you've seen that kind of develop from both sides of the art.
Look, I've seen traditional quilters turn into the dark side, going into art quilting, and also really the art quilters that are sort of only ever done textiles or fabric dyeing or what have you, go into more traditional quilting because it's all an art form, really. And to work with fabric, it not only feels good and smells good and things like that, but you can do so much more with it. And not like a painting on canvas. You can't fold that up and put it away or send that off overseas so easily, whereas a quilt you can. And you can change it around more. It's another medium. I consider it another medium, like oils or acrylics or watercolor. It's fun. And then the machines we have these days are just fantastic, to sit there at a machine and just, thread paint or create so many different layers where you can't do that with a canvas. And recently I've worked more with canvas, but whereas I'm painting the canvas, but it's not stretched. So then I actually take it to the machine and do collage and thread sketch and then back to painting. So you can really marry all those mediums together these days. So it's fun. It's fun. It's experimentation and fun. So.
Now, are you someone who says, I'm going to sit and try and quilt and create this many hours a day, or do you basically work on quilts when you're inspired?
I try and work as much as I can in the studio. Apart from household, and I have 4 dogs of my own, and we have a business, and I do the books for that. But yeah, as soon as I can, it's not an hour thing. It's just when I can and as long as I can at that particular time. So, but yeah, it helps to be inspired. I know through COVID, it was a struggle for me because we were in so much lockdowns. You sat there and watching the news all the time. But yeah, it's a good escape.
And what's interesting to me is for this year's Judge Show, there are a number of winning quilts that do depict animals and mostly realistic animals. So how do you think, I guess, not to get mystical or whatever, maybe the soul or the importance of an animal can come through on fabric that maybe it can't on a photo or a drawing?
I think, look, important with animals, isn't it, to capture the eyes. I've done a few pieces now where if the eyes aren't right, the whole piece doesn't look right. You can do whatever you like with the colours and the fabrics you choose and what have you, but you need to get those eyes right to get that window to the soul type of look. It's just a real passion of mine. I think you've got to be passionate about the animals as well. So it certainly helps.
Oh, great. Well, Susan, again, thank you so much for taking out the time to talk to us today. If people want to find out more about you or more about your work, where can they go?
I have a website that's suedevannyartist.com.au, and also Facebook under Sue Devanny Artist, and Instagram. So I can't even remember.
It sounds like you've got it all covered.
Yes, and that's part of the work too. That's part of your day of trying to maintain all those things as well.
So it's I can call you a multimedia maven then, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Multimedia, definitely.
Well, again, congratulations, Susan. The quilt again is Born to Be Wild. It's won the Janome Master Award for Innovative Artistry, $5,000 prize sponsored by Janome America, and you can see it at Houston Festival coming in just a few weeks. Congratulations again, Susan.
And thank you very much, and thank you, Bob, for a wonderful interview.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.